Let's say you meet someone at a business event. You hit it off, have a great conversation, and they hand you their business card. Do you take it? Well, not such an easy question to answer. I'll explain coming up next. Good Marc TV morning. So last week I'm at a business conference and I'm meeting a whole lot of people from all kinds of industries and businesses. And one individual, guy probably in his early mid-20s, we're chatting, we're having a good time, we got a lot in common business-wise, and I offer him my business card. And he just looks at me. Sorry, I don't do business cards, is what he says to me. So I say, well, how can we keep in touch? Well, I'll just Google you, I'll find your website and your LinkedIn stuff and we'll connect that way. So I say, well, all that information is right here on the card. It's all in one source. Well, it's easy to find on the internet too. All I have to do is enter your name. So I say, well, why would you go through all that effort when everything is right here? Okay. He took a picture of my business card and that was it. He didn't want it. He wouldn't accept it. I couldn't believe it. I handed him my business card and he refused it. He wanted to go online to search for me when all the information was right here. I mean, it's just a little tiny piece of paper. I wasn't asking for any kind of commitment from him or anything. It was just a little piece of paper with my contact information. That was all it was. Not only did he refuse to take it, but when he finally acknowledged that perhaps the information on here could be of use to him, he chose to take a photograph instead. So then I'm thinking, well, maybe he's got one of those really cool apps that takes the information on the business card and stores it as a contact. So I asked him about that. What? There's an app that does that? This guy had no idea what I was talking about. I could only imagine that he was gonna store this photo amongst all the other photos of family vacations and his friends and what he had for lunch and everything else. So I got back to the office and I gave it some thought, and it really bugged me that this is the way things are being done now, and maybe not everybody's doing them, but the fact that I experienced this firsthand, I posted this to my social media feed. I got a lot of responses, especially through Facebook and Twitter, most of them negative, because that's kind of how Twitter and Facebook are, but a lot of them said things like, not using a business card is efficient and less wasteful. Business cards I receive are recycled 30 seconds after I enter their details in Salesforce. I hardly carry them anymore. I enter their information into my phone. You wasted time and money on a business card? Adding you to LinkedIn gives me all the info I need to connect. Business cards are becoming antiquated. Now, whether or not you agree with these statements isn't really the point. You see, this isn't about technology. It's not even about the value of a business card in terms of its environmental impact or whether it's something you technically need or not. It's really about business etiquette, communication, one person speaking to another, and how you should and should not do things. Now, I know there's people out there who hand out business cards like candy. They'll show up at a networking event and just give them out to everybody. They won't even start any dialogue. They don't really care who you are or what you do. They'll just introduce themselves and throw a business card at you. That's not the way to do things. But if you connect with someone and there's something in common and you feel, hey, you know what? There's an opportunity or a reason for us to connect further and talk a little more about whatever opportunities might exist, here's a way to contact me. When you get offered that business card, take it. You see, someone isn't just handing you a piece of paper, they're actually handing you an invitation to stay in touch with them or to reach out to them, or an opportunity for them to reach out to you should they ask for your business card. Which is why you should have your own business cards as well. And yes, I know there's gonna be some of you out there who say, I don't carry business cards, I don't use them, I don't need them, I'll just forward you my information. Well, it might be 2018, but here's the thing. If somebody asks you for your business card and you respond with, I don't do business cards, you know what that says? It says you're either cheap, short-sighted, or just plain stupid. Because the fact is, in every part of the world, a business card is still an important part of business communication. It's still something you should always have. And if you want to print a few, that's okay. If you don't want to give them out that often, that's okay too. But it's something that you should have. And more importantly, they should look professional. And I can tell you, the people who don't use business cards, if they ever got one handed to them and it looked like it was printed on a home printer and it still had the perforated edges around it, well, you know what? Subconsciously, their impression of that person would be impacted, probably for the worst. And this type of professionalism isn't just limited to business cards. Imagine you're at a business meeting and things go really well and you sign off on the deal, and at the end of it you extend your hand to shake and the other person refuses. Or perhaps they fist pump. Really? If you didn't say that you would shake their hand back, then you've got some real problems. I mean, this is how people communicate. When you extend your hand, you expect the other person to shake it. Now, there's going to be some of you who are going to say, hold on there, Mark. You know, in Japan, they bow. They don't shake hands at all. And to that, I'd say, well, if you're in Japan, go ahead and bow. But what's important here is to understand that you need to communicate in a way that is established in that part of the world. So if you want to bow in Japan, go ahead. But if you're in North America and most parts of Europe, you're going to shake hands. You're not going to fist pump. And for those of you who say we don't need paper in this day and age, all you need to do is enter people's information in your phone, and that's enough. Paper makes no impact. Well, I want to show you this. A couple weeks ago, my wife went shopping at a local clothing store, bought a couple outfits. About a week later, she received this in the mail. It's a hand-addressed letter. Inside the letter was a branded card from the store. And inside is a note from the sales rep letting my wife know how much she enjoyed working with her, providing her with the outfits, and she'd welcome her back anytime and to ask for her, and she signed her name. Holy cow, what kind of business does this? My wife is totally in love with this store now. I mean, she loved it before, but now she really feels a connection. And guess what? It's a piece of paper. You think it would have had as much impact through an email? Absolutely not. So if there's one thing I want you to get out of this episode, it's that you understand that communicating is not about electronic versus paper or anything like that. It's about being on equal levels, being receptive to people's advances in terms of handing you a business card or shaking your hand or bowing, as the case may be. Whatever it is, everyone needs to operate on the same level. If you refuse to, you create a lot of discomfort. And there's nothing quite like starting a business relationship by making the other person feel uncomfortable. So do you agree, disagree? Post your comments down below. I'd love to hear them. And if you have an idea for a future Marc TV episode, send it along. If I use it, I'll send you a Marc TV baseball cap. And if you want heads up about new Marc TV episodes, just click subscribe. So as always, I'm Marc Gordon, and you'd know that if you took my business card. And you've been watching Marc TV.